Thank you for joining me this evening. My name is Steven Valdez, and this is my web presentation for L1825 class Multicultural Resources and Services for Librarians. And I am happy to present uh, my web presentation on the civil rights movement literary for teenagers and did some research. Uh, and here we go. So the civil rights movement is pretty big and broad topic. This particular website is to help teens navigate through some foundational uh, facts about the civil rights movement. And here on the homepage does give just a little bit of a generalization of the civil rights movement. And at the bottom, you see there that this website is to help students learn about the civil rights movement. Going on to nonfiction, based upon the research that I was researching, um, teenagers tend to like all kinds of different designs and different art forms when it comes to websites. But also found out that when you're presenting them some educational stuff, they don't really want to have to fight to look for it. And so this layout is one of the easiest ways for students to get to the information that is presented before them. So like here in the nonfiction section, we have some of the more popular pieces that are available and some brief descriptions, titles and authors, and quick links to things like WorldCat and also Amazon for particular items. If students would like to try to find something within their local library, or if they're uh, accessing this website outside of the library. Going on to fiction, our pieces were, my pieces were pulled after some base research on more popular items that have been written. And I went to look for items that were actually written by people who experienced the civil rights movement themselves, mainly African American, but there are some other ethnicity authors who have provided their insight because they were either participating with the civil rights movement at the time or they were interviewing people who were there firsthand. Going on to history, the history page in this website is a history of different things like the milestones in modern civil rights movements. Clicking on the icon will lead the student over to the civil rights timeline provided by Info Please and other forms of descriptions here so that students can quickly understand the different time in the decade, within a decade, within a year, to quickly find out how the civil rights movement progressed. Okay, we'll close that. And also in history, you'll find things like a piece on Black Lives Matter. And it's not just about Black Lives Matters in this particular group, but it furthers on into different links as to finding out what's going on today within the civil rights movement. And a couple other pieces like in-depth detail about Martin Luther King Jr.'s extraordinary life and his timeline, and also the rise and fall of Jim Crow. These pieces were I researched just to kind of give the student a taste of the history because there's so much stuff out there. I found that these particular items, these website items about history, were was a full of information but not overbearing. Now, in my research of how teenagers absorb information, I kept finding over and over again that they're very visual. And come to find out when I was looking for the best of best when it came to film, the civil rights movement has been constantly documented, either taken on by Hollywood or through just regular documentaries. And there's a lot of great film features on here. So I will say that the film page happens to be the biggest, um, with all of these trailers, so that students can go ahead and get a taste of what the story is about, and they can follow these links to YouTube, and YouTube would even rent them the film for a small fee. Going on to resources. Resources are really important for students because they can further on go into their research on the civil rights movement. Uh, Clicking on an icon would lead them things to like the Civil Rights Digital Library. Here you can browse through events and places and find through the collection of pictures of how the civil rights movement came about and how it was documented. Uh, Also offered is a U.S. Commissions on Civil Rights, and this is an interesting group here out of the United States government, where it's been called back into commission because it was out of commission in 1994, but because of all the turmoil in the states for the last few years, the government has put it back into effect. Also, the African American Odyssey, which is actually the Civil Rights Era. This is a great resource for students. Goes through a timeline of all the different events that had happened, uh, letters and different types of discrimination, and also how nonviolent and peaceful marches came about, and also the effects of some of the violence because of the marches and how it enraged people. And Kids Connect is one of the more hands-on dealing with students absorbing facts and getting things like workshops. Sorry, not workshops, but worksheets, so they can go ahead and um, quiz themselves to see how much information they've retained. It's really nice. This is kind of a teacher's resource, but students can definitely use it because it's very simple. It's nothing too hard. It's not overbearing. And also, there's a couple links here to Rosa Parks worksheets and Black History worksheets. And finally, in my bibliography, I got all my references set here. Overall, the civil rights movement um, is very impactful. A lot of teens today are wondering what will happen in today and in the near future regarding this issue. It's always changing, and the world, in order for us to maneuver through the issues that are facing us today in America, we have to know about our past. So thank you very much for watching this video, and have a nice day.